How's everyone doing today? This is Adam with Commander on a Budget. Today we'll be into another episode of Budget Brews. We're still in the middle of Neon Dynasty spoiler season, so we're going to go over Tatsunari Toad Rider. This is a really interesting Sultai legend out of the set. You get to make a legendary frog, and it has a bunch of enchantment synergies, so we're going to make Sultai Enchantress. One thing I am going to go over real quick, if anybody wants to take this panel and make a proxy of Tatsunari for me, that'd be great. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Help me out. All right, anyways, back to the video. So some of the main cards that I would run in this deck are cards like Herald of the Pantheon, along with Umori the Collector. As long as we call enchantments with him, all of them will cost one less. It's a really great way to ramp and get them out a lot faster. You can also run a bunch of really good Enchantress effects, such as Eidolon of Blossoms. Ancesiral Champion, this card also doubles as a beat stick. Another card for the Enchantress strategy, you can run a Yavimaya Enchantress. It's a great beat stick along with the rest of the ones you'll be running. Another very pivotal part of the deck is that I want to run a bunch of cheap enchantments that can either get me more mana so I can cast more enchantments, or just something along the lines of that. So Font of Fertility is a really great card that you should include. I also personally like Fertile Ground a whole lot. And Abundant Growth, it replaces itself once you play it, and it helps you fix your mana. It's a really great card. Next up, I want to get into some synergies that you have whenever you play an enchantment or just have enchantments on the field. So Blightcaster, depending on how many enchantments you play in a turn, is a real great way to kill off creatures. With that being said, the best way to do it is probably Doomwake Giant, because you can pretty much clear entire boards depending on how many enchantments you play. You can run Grim Guardian, which is a drain effect whenever you play a bunch of enchantments. Depending on the route you take, you can also run Sage of Mysteries and run the mill route. You even have certain ways to protect your enchantments like Callaphe, Beloved of the Sea. You can also run Sanctum Weaver as a really strong mana dork. This card's still very cheap, so I would pick it up now while you can. Another quick note that I want to tap on with this deck is that you do have some frog synergies, so Croaking Counterpart's really good to copy your opponent's best thing. You can also run Frog Hemoth as another win condition and just a card that your opponent has to take care of before it gets out of hand. If you want an additional value engine through frogs, you can run Grolnok, the Omnivore. You would probably have to run a few more changelings in the deck, but it's an idea if you want to run it that way. We haven't seen all the shrines from Neon Dynasty yet, but I imagine we're going to get a whole lot more, so Honden of the Seeing Winds is a great draw engine, along with Sanctum of Calm Waters. Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest is a great way for you to ramp. Honden of Life's Web is a great way for you to make creatures. And Sanctum of Stone Fangs is a win condition all on itself, depending on how many shrines you have out. It's a really solid strategy that you can run with the deck. You can also run certain sagas, like the Eldest Reborn, which is one of my favorites. A super underrated saga with the Binding of the Old Gods from Callaphe. It's fantastic. You can also go the Commander Damage route with Ancestral Mask, or Helm of the Gods, or if worse comes to worse, you can just run Villainous Wealth. That's the deck. Let me know what y'all want to see.